Hello everybody, it's December 17th, 2021. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. Right, so last night when I was doing the video, Bitcoin was right in this area here. I said I didn't think that the correction downwards was complete and that we were likely to go into this green box here. So we saw that play out today, entered the top of that green box anyway. I would typically think that this should go down a little bit further. I mean, it did go below this wick anyway, but typically you see like a 1.0 extension. It can bounce from this top area, but more typical to go down a little bit lower than that at the 1.0 extension. So we may still see some more dropping here overnight and or tomorrow. I'm not going to say for sure that we will. It's possible this is kind of A, B, and C down within C, which would give us that final leg down as well. So that kind of makes sense with this pump that we saw earlier in the day today. So I, again, am not saying that we are definitely going to go up from here. All I'm saying with this green box is that that is the maximum allowable that we can see basically for the bulls, or even just for sideways action. If we see a continuation of this breakdown down below this green box, at that point I'll expect the most likely scenario to be a lower low below this 42K wick. Can that simply be down here just slightly lower before coming back up? Yeah, it could be, and that would be sufficient to reset things. We really still, whatever low we strike, like I said yesterday, we need to see a full five-wave move off of that low, whatever it is, in order to confirm the bottom is in. If it bounces from here, we potentially have a diagonal upwards. This would be 1, this would be 2, 3 will be a choppy ABC up like that, 4 and 5. That's a possibility as well. It's also certainly possible that this continues to just a chop here, right? We've got ABC up, ABC or WXY down. We have the possibility of another ABC up, another ABC down. We can continue just going sideways doing that. That's a possibility too. But basically right now, in the immediate future, if we break this line, I will expect further downside. And I don't know exactly what that downside is going to look like. I think the most likely scenario is a minimum of this area here between like 36 and 38, but it could potentially drop much lower than that. As well, on the larger time frame chart, we can see a drop down into the 20Ks again potentially. But the first step, at least right now, is breaking this line. If this does bounce from here and give us another ABC up, this line goes away. That's no longer valid. We'll have to look at the next pullback, and then after that to have a new red line, basically a new line in the sand. But for now, as long as we continue breaking down, that's the line as far as the difference between potentially going maybe a little bit bullish or sideways and just continuation downwards. My preference, like I said, is to see continuation downwards. I want to break this low. This is very low quality action that we've seen. We've seen all chop, right? As soon as we break this low, we can reset all of that, no matter where that goes. If it even just nominally breaks it, it could potentially then, like I said, give us a 5-wave move up and prove that the bottom is in, and we could see the next leg up from there. Am I going to buy down here just below that wick? No, absolutely not. I'm going to let it prove itself to me first, because like I said, we can certainly see deeper. But that is my preference, because this is no way to start off a bull move in the larger scheme of things. So I really would like to see and prefer to see a further dump down, at least to take us at this wick at some point. And if we see an ABC up, the likelihood is that we're just going to see it come down at some point later in the future. Very similar to what we saw all the way back here in the 30K bottoming region. Right here we had our initial wick down like this. We had a wick that got close but not quite, wick that got close but not quite. All of this time was low quality ABC action. Was no way to start off a bull move, which is what I was saying back then too. And then finally we had a low that actually broke that low. Now the odd thing about this is that it was kind of the first signal, honestly, that the next move up wasn't going to be fantastic, but we really only had an ABC up here too. We did not start off this bull move very well. And even down here I was saying, like, man, this could be a 1 and a 2 to start off the next move, but it does not look super promising to start us off on the right foot for that 100K run that we want to see. And obviously that kind of came true as well, since we ended up doing like an ABC upwards from there, and topped out at around 68K. So it got us nowhere near that 100K. So when I say that this is no way to start off a bull run, that's what I mean. Like, if we see this action continue to press upwards, then we're going to be in a larger diagonal as well, and that makes everything really choppy and annoying. So all right, let's see. I think that pretty much sums it up. Hourly indicators, the RSI came down low here. That's where we saw that bounce. We're starting to see some divergence form on the hourly. So at least sort of chopping sideways for a little bit before coming down is probably what we're gonna see if we don't see the outright move up. So that's a possibility. I still favor more downside first. PPO is not as deep as I'd like it to see. I'd like to see it get into this lime green, before I'd think maybe we're going to get a short-term bounce anyway. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour RSI. We might, once we get a green candle here, we might end up with some divergence on the 4-hour. With this sort of action here. So that's a possibility, but we're not super deep on the 4-hour RSI right now, so we can certainly see that drop lower before we see a bounce. Same on the PPO, we're not super deep on the PPO, so again, we may see lower before we actually see a bounce here. And I'm not taking bets, to be perfectly honest. I'm not taking bets right now on whether or not we're going to break down. It's just what I want it to do. I want it to break down so that we can be done with this corrective action and hopefully find a bottom sooner rather than later. But it does seem relatively likely that it'll just keep chopping around in this area for a while, as it did after the 30K low. But I really don't think we're going to see a strong move until we actually break that low again. So keep that in mind. I'm still sitting in cash. I actually have a short that I opened at 49K up in this area here on this Fed day pump. I opened up short there as well. So I'm pretty much almost all in cash. Plus I've got a short running. I've got a break-even stop on it now. If it goes back up there, we're probably going to see that choppiness that I described. But if we get lucky and break down, then I'm going to ride that short all the way down as far as it wants to go. Okay, I think that pretty much sums it up. We'll see where we are tomorrow. I'm actually going to do the weekly update tomorrow for members on my large list of assets. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning instead of Sunday morning. Just works out better for me this weekend. And we'll go from there. All right, good night, everybody.